And this is one of the #1 questions on the internet anymore. How do you take a good selfie with your iPhone? I'm going to give you my tips and tricks, so stay tuned. Hey, we're going to talk about how to create a good selfie with your iPhone. Now, a lot of these rules are going to cross over for you Android users, so don't worry. Selfies are one of the biggest things in the industry now. In fact, there's a National Selfie Day that happens, I think, every June every year. That didn't used to be a thing. Now, selfies, they're just a new term for an old phrase or an old idea, which is a self-portrait. I mean, Van Gogh did self-portraits. Technically, that was one of the first selfies, right? Selfies are not new, but they are new to a lot of us because they're so easy to do now. Back in the days when we had 35mm film, we had to take a picture with the camera and usually it was off and we couldn't find out for 2 weeks if the picture even came out. Now we have the instant gratification cameras where we can just take a picture of ourselves or a selfie and see if it's right or wrong or what angles we're working with or what the lighting is. You can readjust and just reshoot right away. But in order to save yourself some time, let's get a good image off the bat because let's face it, you're not going to make money behind the camera taking selfies. Your money is made doing business. This is part of business, so let's not waste any time. Let me just give you some key points to consider when you're composing that selfie on your phone. First thing to consider is the angle, okay? You're going to want to have that phone at a higher angle than you normally think. You definitely don't want it down low. That's going to distort your features. It's going to make your chin look huge and your nostrils flare. Nobody wants that, okay? Raise that camera up to a high angle. The second thing you need to consider is your lighting. Now, iPhones are getting really good nowadays at lighting. They have this feature that automatically kicks in called HDR. Maybe you've seen this on your phone already. HDR stands for High Density Resolution. Now, that's a big fancy phrase for basically saying what your phone is doing behind your back is going to take 2 images with 2 different exposures lightning fast. You won't even know it. And it's going to composite those images together so that you have the best of both worlds as far as lighting goes. If any of you have ever shot on any phone, an iPhone or an Android, whatever you happen to be using, I'm sure you've seen photos where you've been silhouetted or blacked out essentially because the background is so bright and the phone doesn't know which light to meter for. HDR takes care of that for the most part. HDR is going to say, I'm going to expose for the background and I'm going to expose for the foreground and then take the best of both worlds, mush them together and create one image for you that you don't even know that I did, okay? iPhones will do that for you. But don't expect the iPhone to make up for our lack of judgment and poor lighting. All right, we need to shoot clean. First rule in photography is shoot clean, meaning on purpose with as little post-processing or as little editing as possible. So rule #1 for lighting, always face your light source. That will ensure that your face is the brightest thing in the photo, and that is what we want when it comes to a good selfie. Remember to consider your background. That's one thing that a lot of people forget when they're taking selfies, and when you're running a 6-figure business, you don't want anything popping in your background accidentally. You don't want any photo bombers. You don't want messy backgrounds with trees or poles or telephone wires coming out of your head in any which direction. Make that background clean and on purpose. The subject is the easiest thing to think about when you're creating a photo. But remember, the background is just as important. So check your backgrounds, make sure they're on purpose and that they're cleaned up so you don't have to edit anything out afterwards. Another key or another tip for shooting a selfie with an iPhone is to use a mirror. Now, I'm sure you've seen this. This is very popular, especially among fitness shooters. If you're trying to take a selfie from head to toe, you're going to want to use a mirror instead of using your phone directly on you. The mirror is going to show a lot more than the camera will alone, so definitely be okay with using a mirror. A word to the wise though, when you're taking a selfie in the mirror, the mistake that most people will make is they'll look at their phone instead of at the camera lens in the mirror. When you're taking a selfie in a mirror, you're going to want to look straight into the reflected image of your camera lens, which means you need to know where it is on your phone. So if you're taking a selfie in a mirror and you've got your phone, don't be looking at the screen. You want to look into the mirror right at that camera lens, right there. You should be looking in the reflection of that lens because the lens is taking a photo of the mirror. And when you use the mirror to trace your eyes back to the lens, that will point your eyes into the direction of the lens itself, which means you're facing your audience. Remember that. We always do this. People always mess that up. They're looking at the lens on the front or the screen on the front of the phone. Look into the lens, into the reflection. Last but not least, The number one mistake people make when they're taking selfies with their iPhone is they forget to clean their lens. I can't tell you how many great photos have been ruined by a fingerprint or a smudge or something that people weren't even aware of, and they're saying, why is this blurry? Why is the light all ghosty? Clean your lens before you take your selfies. I've taken so many pictures in full sunlight, in bright light, that turn out smudgy or grody or something is going on there, and you can't really see it because it's just a smudge on the lens. So before you take your selfie, just take your shirt, clean your lens, wipe it down real quick. You don't have to get all technical with it. Just give it a good clean wipe down on the front of the lens and the back lens, and that way you'll have a clean, crisp picture that's coming out from your phone. Now, iPhones are great for selfies. They're designed for it. They're one of the top in the industry because they were one of the first to put the camera on both sides. One thing to remember is that the camera on the back of your phone is slightly better than the camera on the front of your phone. So if you want to take a selfie, don't be afraid to ask someone for help, especially if you want to get a good composure with no distortion. And distortion means one thing looks different than it should. One way that can show up is when you're taking a selfie in front of you and you're looking at your camera. Maybe you're even looking at the lens where you're supposed to, but the angle is off, so maybe your nose will look bigger or your chin will look bigger. Whereas if you were to turn the camera around and use the back camera, your resolution is going to be slightly higher because it's a little bit better of a camera, and it's definitely okay to hand your camera to someone and say, hey, can you snap a quick photo of me? Still counts as a selfie, guys. It's called a self-portrait. It's totally okay to do. Now get out there and create some beautiful selfies. Okay, I hope that video was super useful for you, okay? Leave me some comments in the bottom and give me your feedback. I want to know what you want to know more about. Leave a comment below, ring the bell, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you tomorrow.